to kind of show you. Hi, my name is Tommy. This is my 1995 F350 with the 7.3 Powerstroke. And I've been running the Dieselsite water tare intercooler for quite some time now. I'm still really happy with its performance, but I would recommend watching our other two videos on this where you can gain some context in the data to show if this works or not. But more importantly, we can show you all the modifications that we had to do to actually make this work. Now, today's modification, I think, is something that should come with it out of the box, and we're gonna show you how to make this thing even easier for you gearheads.
Down Truck Dog Road, we're running free. An old Ford's growl, just a dog and me. Dust in the mirror, dreams in the load. Life's a long haul down Truck Dog Road.
Okay, so to catch you guys up really quick on some of the mods that we did to this thing, when you buy this out of the box, it's going to be using the antifreeze from your heater core. It actually taps into these lines here, your inlet and outlet line, and that's what circulates it through here. Now, it does work that way, but I wanted it to work a bit better because last season we were driving through some pretty hot climates, mostly high elevation deserts. So I wanted it to be much cooler than that. So we now have it running on its own system. You could watch the previous video for how we did it. But we have its own reservoir with its own coolant, and it might be kind of hard to see, but right here is a Bosch water pump, and I can control that from a gang switch inside the cab. So it circulates on its own antifreeze, and I've got the little radiator that it comes with right here inside of the bumper. I put it here so that it's getting direct airflow when we're driving. I didn't want it too close to my other heater cores, mostly to save from the excess heat that we're gonna get from there. The big problem that I foresee with this, and it hasn't happened yet, but I foresee it happening, is when it comes time to actually working on this motor. If I have to, clean out the high pressure oil pump reservoir or replace an IPR or whatever, this is in the way. So currently, to remove this, you undo all of these clamps, undo all the hoses and the boots. Then you just undo that bolt there and it comes off. Really easy, not complaining about that. What I am complaining about is that we're still connected to our 3/8 inch line. And so when I take that off, I'm basically gonna have to lay it to the side somewhere. It's gonna have to lay here, it's gonna have to lay over there, and it's still going to be attached, which also means that if I don't get done working on the motor halfway through the day, it's just gonna dangle here, right? I'm gonna have to put it back so I could close the hood, and it's gonna be a nightmare. So we're gonna solve that today by making it so that we can actually detach these hoses without spilling anything and just get this out of the engine compartment altogether. Now, the way we're gonna accomplish this today is by using these quick disconnect fittings. Now, these are technically made for like large industrial equipment, think like tractors, and they're meant for hydraulic lines. So when you have equipment like a tractor where you have different hydraulic arms and things that you might use throughout the day, these will be located on the side of the hydraulic pump that you can actually disconnect, and then you can, kind of disconnect and connect different tools needed for that tractor. And the way these work is they have a little nipple on the end, and they work just like a air compressor line. So you just pull this back and it disconnects, but this is meant for fluid. Both of those little nipples that you see in there push against each other and open up the valve to allow fluid to circulate. So theoretically, when you disconnect these, very little liquid actually dumps out of them. Just to kind of demonstrate, I can't blow any air with them disconnected, but as soon as I connect them, I can blow air back and forth, and they work seamlessly. Now, if you're interested in these, I did purchase them from Amazon, and I will have affiliate links in the description below, and it does help support the channel if you order anything that we use today through that. It doesn't cost you anything extra. All right, we're gonna be making a little bit of a mess today, and theoretically what we should do first is actually undo all of these, but I'm actually not gonna do that. We're just gonna be working in this space today, mostly because I'm a little short on time. So we're gonna make a bit of a mess. Next, we're gonna go ahead and take off this adapter here because I wanna see if I can actually mount those quick disconnects directly to this guy. So let's take this off. And we're gonna do this one side at a time because it, make sure that not too much dribbles out. Probably gonna see the most of it dribble out here. There it goes. Yeah, we're gonna have to clean all this up. Now, technically we could have undone this and tilted it up, but again, we're pressed for time and I've got more antifreeze, so. Okay, so first things first, I wanna see if this will actually, it's NPT thread, so it should work. Yes, it is. Sweet. Because those fittings are all female, so we kind of have to get this little adapter working here. So I've gone ahead and wrapped our fitting in plumber's tape on both sides. And go ahead and get this guy installed. You want it too tight, but you need it pretty tight. At least half a UGA, you know? You don't want to go so tight that you strip anything out, but it needs to be tight enough. All right, so now we've got the fitting. I want to put the disconnect side that you have to pull on this guy, because I feel like it'll be easier with it on the bracket. You can just kind of use that as leverage. So taking a look here, it looks like I'll have enough room for everything, I hope. Need a 7/8 wrench here for this guy, but a speed wrench would do just fine. This is the barbed fitting that goes on the hose side, and this is the end that we're going to use, both stainless steel on this side, for the male end, so it'll go just like that. So let me get some thread, some plumber's tape put on here, and then we'll put it on that side. Okay, so now that we've got the female end attached, I've got technically the male end attached to the 3/8 hose barb. We're gonna go ahead and reattach this guy. And none of this is under very high pressure, so everything we're using here is definitely overkill, to say the least, but it's gonna work. And we'll double check for leaks and everything. But now we can test this out. This guy out of the way. Bring this back. Press forward. There we go. How about that? Just barely clears the hose here. Go. I'm doing here is some of the, you don't want to damage the threads, but some of the plumber's tape is stuck in there, so I'm just making sure you don't want any of that in your pump. All right, this guy put in there. Okay, so because the fitting that we get for the hose side is a female, we have to have one of these male barbs so that our 3/8 hose can go on top of here. So what I'm going to do to tighten these two up is I'm going to take what size is this? A 7/8 wrench to fit right in here so that it connects to the bottom one. And then I will take my 3/4 wrench on top like that, and we can tighten them down to each other. And again, they don't need to be like hold the world together tight. They just need to be enough to prevent any leaks. So there we go. All right, now we're free to put our barb right back into the hose clamp and get this tightened down. Now we've got two connectors that we can freely, there we go, just like that. So now what I'm going to do is go grab some tape so that we can mark which hose goes where, since it'll be easy to get those confused. And technically it doesn't matter, but I have a preference and I'll show you. And then we could fill this back up full of antifreeze and test the system to make sure there's no leaks. Just kind of clean up my mess a bit so I can tell if something's leaking. And again, it doesn't hold very much pressure, so I'm not like too worried about it, but just in case, let's undo this so that it can breathe, because we didn't lose too much coolant, but we may have lost enough that I need to reprime the pump. If you haven't seen this before, I got to turn the key on, but there's our water pump button. And I did that so that I don't want just a keyed on power source, because I want to be able to leave it off while I'm warming up the truck. All right, I could see it Might be kind of hard to see, but it is circulating in there. And you can maybe hear it. I don't know if you could hear it from my mic or not, but it is circulating. Didn't eat too much. It looks like we didn't lose as much coolant as I thought. And I am not seeing any leaks. So right now I've got the truck started. We're letting it get warm. I've got the little pump on here. That way we don't drain the batteries. I've got the truck started and running. I don't know if you could see that, but it's moving around in there. If you see any smoke, it's from the coolant being on the exhaust manifold, so you might see some smoke on camera. That's just burning off the antifreeze because I haven't cleaned it up yet. But one thing I was leading to earlier is we have two connectors on the intercooler itself. If you were to get those backwards, it's not the end of the world. All you're doing is changing the direction that the coolant is flowing in that intercooler. So you just have to decide, do you want the coolant closer to the turbo or closer to the motor? I don't really know if it makes that big of a difference because, I don't know, maybe it does, I don't know. But just note that if you were to get those backwards, it's not the end of the world. All right, so one thing I want to show you guys, I've had this running for a while, allowed it to get up to operating temperature and to get warm, and we've got no leaks, so we are in good shape. But I want to show you how much liquid you lose when you disconnect one of these. So just to kind of show you, you are going to lose a little bit. It's not perfectly sealed, but it's also not like completely spilling out, which I can handle. And when you plug it back in, it does dribble out a little bit more when it's under pressure. But all in all, to lose just a little bit of coolant and to be able to disconnect these, unconnect our boots, and unbolt the bracket, and now this entire thing, this entire assembly can move out of the way when you're working on the truck. So if I have to do, God forbid, valve covers or IPR or whatever, now this thing just isn't in the way and it's not flapped to the side or whatever. So I'll let you guys know how these work long term. Just keep in mind that you do lengthen these quite a bit. So just make sure that when you're altering the bracket to get this installed, that if you want to do this method, that you are leaving enough room in here. If there isn't enough room, what you could do is put an elbow in here, and you can kind of put them to the side if you find that they're in the way. Luckily for me, they are, just fine. I do need to kind of tape this up a little bit. This wrap will go under here so that it's not vibrating a hole into the boot. And other than that, I think we're good to go, guys. Just gonna put these back, put some zip ties, and then rinse it out, and we are good to go. So I'll let you know how these work long term, but personally, I think that something like this should actually just be included in the kit. This just makes too much sense for me. Also, one last thing, you are gonna have a little bit more resistance because the liquid isn't traveling straight anymore. It kind of has to travel around the little plungers. So you do get a little bit of resistance on both sides, but it's not enough to cause any damage. So just kind of note that. But if you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments below and I'll do my best to address them. But you can also use these guys for other purposes. You could use them for fuel lines. I maybe wouldn't use it for fuel, but maybe pick up a nicer set if you're going to use them for fuel. But anywhere else that you guys have coolant hoses or anything that you need to be able to disconnect, this is a pretty nice method, and they hold up to pretty high pressures. So that's it for this video. Real short one. Huge quality of life improvement by installing these quick disconnects on the Dieselsite water tire intercooler. In all honesty, something like that I feel like should come in the kit. But if you want to purchase any of the adapters that we use to make this work, I do have affiliate links in the description. It does help support the channel if you order through there, and it doesn't cost anything extra to you. We appreciate liking and subscribing to support our small channel. And if you guys have any questions, let us know. I'll try to address them in the comments. And if there's anything that you want to see us do to this thing that we haven't done already, let us know. I'm curious to see what other mods you guys can think of. Thanks for watching.